Yeah, you're live. Do you give me?
Yeah, afternoons.
Steven.
All right, I got 6:30. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Roll call. Steve,
Yes.
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yep.
Approval of agenda in front of you. Do you have the agenda? Are there any additions, subtractions, corrections that need to be made, or movements?
We asked if people are here for specific items.
We have not yet. Brenda, you're here for citizens forum? Is my guess.
Yeah, about the coloring.
Perfect. Okay. Sue.
Couple for citizens forum and the rest are on the agenda.
Okay. Kelly.
I'm on the agenda for Charter Boulevard.
7A. How about you, Mitzi?
Same thing. I'm interested in the tornado center too, though, so I'll probably stay a little longer.
Okay.
I move that we move 9A to 7. Okay. For
9A to where? Sorry.
7K.
To 7K.
Are you?
It's a motion to move consent agenda item 9A to item 7K. Is there a second? Second. Discussion? Hearing none. Steve?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Ken? All right. Item number 4, citizens forum. At this time, we will take any citizen or community input. Other than that, that is currently on the agenda. Who would like to open this up?
My name is Brenda Peitzman. I'm the school nurse here at Collins Maxwell. And I am starting a health and wellness program for the school, for all the students and staff and everyone. And so we are organizing a color run for the fall on October 26th. And we just wanted to make sure that was okay. And I'm going to give you guys a map so you can see kind of what streets will need some traffic control or maybe closures. Sorry, not moving this floor.
Yeah, we're coming at me every way.
We are going to partner with Market in the Park as well. They're going to do their fall festival that day. So we're going to start the race at the school and it's going to end in the park. So people can do the race in the morning and then head over to the park to do the fall festival afterwards.
It's just one of those deals where you throw paint at each other or
It's
something
like
like that.
powdered,
Hard paint.
yeah, it's colored powder, yeah.
And are they gonna be stationed throughout this route?
They are, we haven't decided exactly how many stations we're gonna need yet, so I'm working on that right now.
What is the time frame for this?
It is gonna start at 9 o'clock, the actual race, and registration will start at 8, and it should be done by like 11 o'clock.
And you said this is on a Sunday?
It's on a Saturday.
Okay.
So October 22nd?
I think it's 22nd.
I think it's
Yeah,
October 22nd.
What, street closures were you anticipating?
we'll probably have to close, kind of where people go across the highway and stuff, and then have to, after you guys say that's okay, then I have to talk to the Story County Sheriff's Office to get some traffic control around there.
Have you talked to Tony about any of Tony Ness?
No, I haven't.
We're gonna have to do some thinking, on 210 anyway. We don't have jurisdiction over that since it's a state highway, so.
Is there any reason why you can't move it over to Baldwin?
Mr. Grandin made them up,
For sure.
but I could certainly ask him about that.
Because the city council doesn't have authority on 210.
Right,
And so
that's what I would,
closing 210 is an application to the DOT. And anytime you make an application to the DOT for closing the highway, you have to identify a alternate route for the traffic, which we do every year during the Old Settlers Parade. But it just increases the complexity. And so, yeah, talk to Mr. Brandon and let him know that Main Street may be not appropriate and that Baldwin would be a whole lot easier because the rest of them we can certainly close.
Do you want me to send you an email? Will that help you?
Sure.
Except for Fifth Street. We can't close on Fifth Street.
5th would be 210
Well-
too.
so then we wouldn't really be able to end in the park, wouldn't we?
Right, I was just thinking that that route won't work.
The only thing that they're doing on Fifth Street is crossing.
Right, but we can't close that off.
You're gonna have to just be.
No, what you would have
Oh.
is like crossing guards that would assist make sure that the traffic, any runner pauses while traffic goes through.
So we can cross
So go up.
210, but we just can't go down it.
Right.
So go up to north, go all the way down to Baldwin, and come south and end at the park. That would work, right? Am I thinking that right?
Just
Yeah.
over a block. And
One more block over.
Okay.
You shouldn't have a problem with that, I don't think. But I'll send you an email.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
Awesome.
What else do you have for us?
what is the?
What?
Do you have anything else?
I know, that's it.
That's it? Short and easy. Does council have anything, any input for Brenda while she's here? Awesome. Thank you. And who's next? Sue?
Okay, I had a question from a family member who is thinking about having a party for a set of twins.
What, sorry?
A set of twins, they're thinking about having a party up here in the park. And they're wanting to know if those inflatable, like slides and stuff like that are allowed in the park.
That would be an insurance question, and so I don't have that off the top of my head, so we'd have to ask our insurance. Yes.
Insurance, they would have to cover insurance for inflatables. 'Cause I've
Gotcha.
already had this talk with.
Okay. So, yes, they're allowed. The people that are putting it on, whether it's a vendor that's coming in and putting inflatables in,
Okay,
or the individual would have to carry that insurance on
Okay.
that.
So now, do
Thank
most
you on
vendors
that.
carry them? Do they carry the
That would
liability?
just
I
have
would
to
assume so,
show,
because I think the ones in counties would already have that liability insurance on
they
it.
would have to
I don't think
provide
that has
proof of
inflatables
insurance to the
anymore.
city.
Okay, my second one, was there a building permit issued for the shelter at the Freedom Rock?
The city sent the plans to the building inspectors for review and approval to ensure that it is a safe building. And the the city is not required to take out a building permit for buildings, city buildings on city property, once it has been determined that it meets all code. So, no, we did not.
Okay, my understanding was that it was the Legion that was doing it,
No.
not the city.
The Legion provided help, but it was supervised by the city. Tony was down there on behalf of the city, managing, supervising the activity, and
Well,
actually working on it some days.
because usually building permits are posted and I didn't
Yeah.
see one, that's
Yeah.
why I asked. Do you know what the cost of the shelter was?
Yes, I do.
How much was it?
City bought it 2 years ago, and it was less than 25,000. Some of the money came from the Maxwell Area Renewal Committee. Some of it came from the Legion, some of it came from the VFW, and some of it came from the city.
Okay,
Those 4 groups funded the shelter.
so could you tell me how much was the money from each of the donors?
It was about $10,000 from Maxwell Area Renewal Committee, and if I remember correctly, it was $3,000 to $5,000 somewhere in there from the Legion and the VFW each, and the rest was city. And that information is a public record, which you can obtain by asking the city clerk to dig through the records and find it.
That 10,000, was that the 10,000 that was allocated for upkeep and any changes for the band shell?
I mean, we don't know that, because the Maxwell Area Renewal Committee is not a city entity. So as a city, we don't know what those funds are allocated for, since it is a separate entity of the.
So is there a representative to contact on that so that we know what that money was donated for?
Me,
Okay, Steve, here we go, you and me.
I was on the Old Settlers Committee when the Old Settlers Committee decided to turn the $10,000 that had been raised for the shelter over to the Maxwell Area Renewal Committee. The reason it
The
was
shelter, you
or
mean the
for
bandstand?
bandstand. And originally, the bandstand was going to cost like $30,000, and $10,000 was raised, and it just kind of languished for years.
And nobody went ahead and did any repairs or anything that needed to be done with that money?
Not to my knowledge. The Old Settlers Committee did repairs to the bandstand as needed, because it's an integral part of Old Settlers. replaced, some of the backboards and, did those kinds of things, but, didn't spend a whole lot of money on it, to my recollection.
So it was just negligence on whoever was supposed to have taken that money.
That's a
and
strong
used it
word.
for-
I take exception to the word negligence. Please
It wasn't
rephrase,
about-
please rephrase.
So it was just someone who did not see that that money was used for the bandstand, is that correct?
The money was in an account, at Old Settlers, an Old Settlers account. If there was not enough money to do the bandstand, the money was transferred, to the Maxwell Area Renewal Committee. A few years later, at a Maxwell Area Renewal Committee meeting, a vote was taken to use the money on the Freedom Rock Plaza to build a shelter. And
Did you let the donors of that money that went for the bandstand know that it was being redirected to something else?
I have no idea who the donors were.
That's unusual.
Why?
Well, I think it was a lot of people. And
Yeah.
it was because they did fundraisers. So, and I know some people have been asking where that money is. So it's kind of an issue. It's not that big a deal. When you look into everything, you look up the Mark Committee, and it does specify. It was like Susan was there, and I don't remember who else, but it did specify that it was specifically for band shell improvements.
Mhm.
But that was, like I said,
When it was Old Settlers,
no, when it went to Mark.
when it went to Mark.
The Mark Committee said it was specifically, it's
Oh.
on the Mark page where you can look up like the meetings. It's still on.
Mhm.
So you can look at it. But I think it's just important that people know where that money went. That they don't think that that Old Settlers took that money and has it, and is
Yeah.
using it. 'Cause
That money
we have the
was
check.
taken,
Right.
was transferred to Mark from Old Settlers. And its original purpose was to do the bandstand. $30,000 was never raised. $10,000 was raised, and then it kind of had languished. And after years of just sitting there, the money was used at the Freedom Rock Plaza to build the shelter, and the shelter's now built.
Who made that decision?
Who made which decision?
The decision to use that money for the Freedom Rock shelter rather
A
than
proposal
something in
was
the
made
park
to Mark, and
by,
I can't remember.
I think we need to re-divert the conversation, because now we're
Yeah.
essentially having a Mark meeting and not a city council meeting. So, do you have any other citizens forum questions?
well, I can look and see. No, that will do for right now.
Anything else for citizens forum?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm not a citizen of Maxwell. Can I still talk?
Sure. Yeah. State your name and address for
Yeah,
public.
John Maxwell.
Address of the town.
Yeah, one or the other. I don't know how it fell, but
What's your address, please?
it's a serious question.
For
305
the record,
30521 640th Avenue.
thank you.
Close enough.
I'm close enough. First of all, I appreciate you having us in here and being able to talk to you. And you guys have work to do, so all of us. But as it pertains to certain things in the park in the city, this is fresh on my mind. I had a cousin that got married. The reception was down at the park Saturday, and several out of state, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, out of staters. Some of them familiar with the town, some of them not. The ones that are familiar with it said both positive things and negative things. which was fun. One of the big positive things was the rock flags. I didn't know that's what you called it, but that's something common. And they asked who does it, who did it. Of course, they're common names that volunteer their time, their money, and their effort, and I think that's admirable. Some of us have time, some of us have no time, but either way, they recognized it, they appreciated it. A couple funny things they said. My aunt, I think it was, said, "Well, that one won't get flood stained when the water comes up." So obviously, it's not a bandstand, but it's still positive. You know what I mean? So I want you guys to know that there are definitely positive things that are taking place. Some of the negative, and nothing too negative, but just little comments about the citizens doesn't seem like they care as much as they used to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, hell, probably 50 years ago for a couple of them. But just little stuff like yards aren't quite as pretty as they used to be, and shit in their yard or garbage, sidewalks are crap, little stuff. There's certain places on Main Street it looks like Putin was here, so. But otherwise, I mean, I just mainly wanted to share with you guys that there's definitely always some positives, so don't beat yourselves up about it. I mean, I think about, and I get what you're saying with the funds, but if I were to write a check to somebody, whether it's a church or the city, and I wanted a bench, for example, with my dad's name on it or something, I'd like to think that they would respect and put that toward the bench. But if I was going to write a check to the city or to the Mark Committee, whoever it was, it's pretty obvious to me writing the check that I'm putting my faith in that money, that they're going to do with it what they want. So kudos for that. Whoever makes those decisions, I don't know who it is. Maybe it's Steve. You're doing good so far. Other than the sidewalks. So really, that's pretty much all I had. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate it. Anything else for Citizens Forum? All right, we will move on to departmental reports, starting with the sheriff's office. Officer Lentz is
Yep.
here now.
Yep, Jordan. I'll be the only deputy for Maxwell this year. We're down a couple deputies, so I'm alone. So I work afternoon 3 to 11. So with just being me, if there's something going on, I have a call, I may not be able to make the meetings, and we don't have a backup. So I'll try, obviously, on my days off, I'll be here, but days on, if there's something happening, I may not be able to make another follow-up. As far as the last month, we didn't have a ton going on in town. You saw the report. Kind of the usual. There's a stolen vehicle, ends up in town, just in damage to someone's yard, but that was about the biggest thing. I think in the month we have some events going on in town. There sounds like there might be some issues between a couple different groups in town. I'm kind of seeing some of that right now, I feel like, but we have deputies, I think, for the Old Settlers days. We have, I think, 3 of us will be down there till like 12:30. It's already set up, and then is it the market on the 30th? We don't have any overtime for that assigned. I don't know if you guys have been talking with the sheriff's office or not, but we got an email essentially saying we're trying to be visible, our presence in town. So that's kind of the same thing as the meetings. If something else is going on, we obviously can't, but right now our office is aware of those events going on. So other than that, do you guys have anything for me? No?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
you for having the speed signs
Oh, yeah.
up on 210.
Did they give you a report of those?
I have not seen one.
Okay. I can
Like
reach
to
out.
see it, though.
Yeah, we have, the deputy who's in charge of generates a report on it, has a computer in it, basically tell the speeds, and when, like, if we had someone flying through town consistently, we can see all that and look at it. So I can reach out to him and see if we can get a copy of that. At least I send it to the city of Maxwell email or whatever and get there for you guys, all right?
I did notice when it was on 5th Street, which is a great location, but when I crest the hill at 35 miles an
35,
hour,
yeah.
the thing's flashing at me that I'm going too fast
Mm-hmm.
because it's in the 30-mile-an-hour zone
It's picking up that far.
and it's picking up that far out.
Did it
So-
make you slow down though? That's the real question.
So they can adjust
It certainly
it.
made me slow down,
Yeah.
but the statistics might be a little wonky
Yeah,
on
pretty
that.
skewed. It
because
does.
They're gonna have I'm going to appear twice. Once going 35, and then I go down into that little hill and come back up, and then
Grab you twice.
going 30.
That quits flashing, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And they can adjust that. That's if I don't know if they can adjust the radar, but when it starts flashing, we can adjust all the speeds on it. So maybe something to look at. But typically, like I said, that report's kind of used for habitual offenders. We have someone speeding through town. We kind of keep track when they're going through. So
Can we request that it be put back up again on the other side of the street when school starts?
No, for
That
people
would
going
be
out of town.
one, yes, going out of town. That would be perfect.
if we can get closer to another meeting when that's about to
Yeah.
start, I can
We'll let
definitely
you
reach out to the deputy to get that set up. They kind of have a schedule. Obviously, we have a lot of towns to spread it out with, but when it comes that time, we can definitely get it there.
You guys could just buy, we pay you 60,000, you can buy.
Buy another one. Yeah, that's over my head. I don't make those decisions.
It's over in Collins today.
Is it there now?
Mhm.
Okay,
Much appreciated
absolutely.
after school starts.
Yep.
When they get out of school.
Okay.
Perfect. Anything else, council?
Hooligans.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
I can
All right, the fire report. They had 4 calls with 17 people, no injuries or accidents, no maintenance, no special events, no future plans, nothing that the city needs to do. Anything for Tony on the fire side? Hearing none, we'll move on. EMS department, I don't believe we, yes, we did. They had 12 page outs with 8 of those responded, average EMS per call 1 to 2, 5 persons assist 1, Cambridge to Maxwell 4. No meeting this month due to lack of personnel. Monthly truck check was complete. CQI was completed by Story County Medical. No maintenance to be done. It looks like the EMS are wanting to look into replacing the Surface with an iPad with cellular capabilities in order to take into the house and work towards getting rid of any paperwork on calls. The system we have now isn't the best, and this could work easier for us. I will look into prices for the iPad before next meeting. Anything for Scott on the EMS side?
I talked to Scott. I'm texting earlier today, and Steve, I got with you last week or so about Scott wanting to make a meeting. So if we can, Monday, the 18th at 10 a.m.
It'll work.
Okay, we'll just meet down here at the fire station.
Oh,
Okay. And then we'll talk to him also about these monthly meetings. I think this is the second one. So due to lack of personnel, maybe we have to have a time change instead of on a Saturday or Sunday.
Do like Wednesday night or something.
Do a night time deal.
Monday, the 18th at 10, you said.
Yep.
Anything else for Scott? Looking here for library report. Did we get a library report? Nope. Public Works, streets, price to fix Banklin Bridge is approximately $7,500. The streets are, all the other streets are done. Park's getting ready for both shindigs. Part of the playground has been put in. We pumped 1.4 million gallons, sold 1.3 million gallons. Sewer, we pumped about 3.7 million gallons. We also, I know it's not on here, we also had our open house at the sewer plant this weekend. And actually, that was my first time out there. It's pretty impressive, actually, with what they're doing. So,
Anybody else?
you did have a couple people show up.
He said he had 11.
Huh?
He had 11.
11 total.
That's good.
Did he include me and my son in that?
Four of them were your family.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised not 11 are.
3 people got lost.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right, moving on. Oh, anything for Tony on Public Works? All right, moving on to City Clerk. Dee did a good job while Deb was out. She only received a couple help calls. Some grass letters were sent out, board adjustments, a meeting on the 18th. Parks and Open Spaces meeting is also on the 18th. Attached, you will find the treasurer and budget report. Does anybody have questions for Dee or Deb on any of these items?
Deb, what time are those meetings?
5:30
5:30
and 6.
and 6:30.
5:30 for B and A and 6 to noon.
No, it's the opposite.
6:30.
Our parks is first.
Anything else for Dee or Deb?
Deb, later on the agenda, is a fund transfer.
Yep.
And does the total amount of money that's being transferred exceed, the negative ending balance on the general fund?
No. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Anything else
for
on
Deb.
that?
Sue's got a question.
Yes.
This could be addressed to Deb. When are the minutes and the bills paid going to be on the city website? We've talked about this before.
They're on there now.
Okay, and then who wrote the minutes from the 6/6 council meeting? There was a lot left out and not all the information was correct. Needs to be adjusted.
We will take a look at those minutes.
Later on the
Yeah, under consent agenda. So,
Okay.
anything else under city clerk? Perfect. Hearing none, we will move on to the engineer reports. Looks like there's been no direct work on the Fifth Street storm sewer improvements. Baldwin Street reconstruction project is still on track for 2023 construction. Keep in mind that we haven't signed anything on that, so it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to happen in 2023, but it is on track if we are ready to move forward at any time. Tasks required prior to bidding include finalization of construction plans with all selected features, permitting easement acquisition, and committing the required funding. The SDBG grant, the official award letter for $240,000 has been received. We are starting the process with the FHWA and the IDOT to determine the steps required to comply with the grant requirements. CDBG water main replacement, the request for qualifications for grant administrators out for proposal now and due July 22nd. The grant administrator will coordinate and assist the city in complying with all of the requirements for the grant program and the anticipated $300,000 in grant funding for the water main replacement. The target date for submitting the CDBG application is October 1 in anticipation for the March 23 letting. Both the CDBG and STBG grant will require additional environmental clearances and permits. In addition, the STBG funding requires a bid letting through the Iowa DOT. The storm sewer outlet to Indian Creek will also require an easement acquisition, which must follow certain protocols due to the new funding requirements. Currently preparing a supplemental agreement to complete the permitting requirements, update the plans for the IDOT letting, acquire the necessary easement, and to complete and include water main replacement. As soon as we have some additional clarification on the STBG requirements, we will then submit to the city for consideration, hopefully for action at the August meeting. However, in the meantime, we are proceeding with the preliminary work to keep the project moving. Wes wants us to advise if we would prefer we defer the work on the project and the supplemental can be reviewed and approved. At the council's request, we have provided the city's financial advisor, Tiana Pooler, with anticipated cost and known funding sources for the project, and will continue to coordinate with her regarding the impacts and needs for financing the remainder of the project. The action item on the agenda for tonight is to establish a selection review committee for scoring and recommending award of the CDBG grant administrative for their procurement guidelines. It's not a major task as it is possible. We may only receive RFQ, but it is in guidelines, so it is in the best interest to follow. There is no set number of committee members or position requirement to my knowledge, though council members or city staff are typically appropriate members. We will provide additional information to the selection review committee on scoring criteria upon receipt of the protocols. Wastewater treatment plant improvements, record drawings, and O&M manuals are in development for the city's files and future utilization. No updates on Rock Creek Ridge Estates Plat 2. Woodlawn Stewart stormwater study. He wants us to advise of the planned date for public meeting on the project to obtain community feedback and determine the next step toward design or construction. I think I'm going to stop there so we can discuss that. Do we have a date that would work for
That's
everybody?
on an action.
Oh, never mind. I will shut up and keep moving. Heart of Iowa Trail Arch Bridge erosion repair. We are currently in the process of attempting to obtain quotations from contractors for the project. If council or staff are aware of any local contractors who may be interested in the work, we would appreciate the referral in our search for interested firms. High school construction observations. We've not been able to make follow-up site visit to confirm or review the contractor's work in addressing the previous concerns. However, information provided by the city indicates that the storage area at the soccer field may become an attractive nuisance if left as is. We would recommend that if the contractor intends to continue to use that area, the city should consider asking or requiring that the storage area be fenced or otherwise secured to minimize public access. At a minimum, orange construction fencing around the area could be used, or at best, a temporary chain link fence similar to the site perimeter fencing could be installed. And we've had this conversation with the school and have actually told them to move that to an area that there's actually posts in the ground that people can't drive into, which is over by the flag post. That's Steve, you look confused.
Yeah. Aren't we talking about the stormwater retention area
No,
at
this
the
is
field?
I
no.
think you're,
No,
the flagpost at the Legion Field.
Yeah, so what we're talking about is the bleacher storage that
Okay.
has been becoming an issue. We asked them to move it over the street.
The storage area at the soccer field.
Yeah.
I see.
So like by the building, is that?
Kinda across the alley from the building, so it's inside those, whatever you want to call them.
Parking posts.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so nobody can drive over them and all that. So I'll reach out to
So what
Chad.
about the kids climbing on them? That's not, is
Yeah.
that gonna,
There goes.
is that still gonna allow them to get up there and climb on it?
Well,
They
I think
still
that's
do.
why he was suggesting a fence. I think it needs to be moved and there needs to be a
And then-
fence.
Hand fence,
Yeah.
contained.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were 4 kids down there.
A couple weeks ago.
Now I got 2 in the picture, but I didn't take pictures and they smiled for me.
They did, that was cute.
Anything for Wes? I know I just read a whole book pretty fast, so anything? Parks and Open Spaces Board, is there any updates on that? Hearing none, we'll move on to,
Jameson, there's a meeting on the 18th, sorry, totally spaced
No,
out.
you're
Meeting on the 18th, we will be discussing a memorial bench for the Link family. Greg's gonna get back Gary to where they would like to place it, and then we'll go from there. And then you also stated that maybe some additional camping spots with electricity. Right. We'll be discussing that too.
memorial fence for Link family.
No.
Bench.
no,
Bench.
Bench.
Sorry.
Probably down by the baseball diamond someplace. It's that since he was
And
Hey,
Old timers baseball.
very active in the old timers.
And then additional camping places.
Electrical.
What'd they do with those lights?
Say what?
The lights up for the flag area down here?
Oh, yes. Tony is, unfortunately, the ones that we ordered, they are big enough, but there's no adapter for the spotlight to our electrical, and for whatever reason, it's taking forever to get here. Well, I'll give you the reason, but we don't need to get into that.
Okay.
So we've ordered the adapter.
Yeah.
They're working.
They're working on it. We were hoping a 4th of July debut, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
Anything else for Parks and Open Spaces? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 7A, discussion and action on the closing of Trotter Boulevard for various activities for Old Settlers and Maxwell State Bank. I'm assuming, has everybody had a chance to review the 3 events? We need to go into more detail before we get a motion and then open up for discussion. Okay, I will take a motion to approve.
I motion to approve.
Motion by Megan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Lauren. Discussion.
Will the entire Trotter Boulevard be closed, or is it only a portion of Trotter Boulevard?
I know for the July 16th fundraiser, it is not the entire portion. It goes from essentially the,
First to second?
yeah. It's a little less than that, but
Just behind the bank then?
yeah,
Okay.
just like right in front of the Freedom Rock complex.
Mhm.
So,
How about Old Settlers kids game?
For that one, I was thinking directly behind where Casey's used to be to the drive that goes into the Maxwell Bank, so we're not blocking that. So that people could still access that potentially if
The
you wanted
drive-thru.
that open.
So
Yeah,
that would
so they
be
could access
from
the drive.
First to Bank Drive. And Old Settlers,
Sunday shouldn't be an issue, we just pretty much just whole day in the day.
all the way down to Broad,
Oh, no, just from up, from,
first to second.
yeah.
Okay. I'd like to offer an amendment with the closing of Trotter Boulevard for the Maxwell State Bank be from first to second. For the kids' games on August 5th, from first to the Bank Drive. And for Old Settlers, August 7th, from first to second.
that is another motion that precedes the first motion.
Second.
There's a second by Megan. Another round of discussion, anyone? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and do roll call.
So
Lauren?
this is on the amendment.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
I didn't say anybody's name.
And now
With the bank.
Who seconded
the
the?
motion
I
as
did.
amended.
Megan.
The what?
The motion as amended.
Yes. Motion as amended. Is there a,
Well, we're ready for the vote.
yes. So now we're off to Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yeah.
Jen, Steve,
Yes.
Lauren.
Yes.
Jansen, what is the fundraiser for the bank?
It is a,
I get some money for that.
yeah, no, it's not a fundraiser for the bank. It's a fundraiser put on by the bank.
I was gonna say, that does sound bad. That does sound bad.
Sound bad. It is a farm to table meal with all ticket proceeds going to the Maxwell area renewal.
And it's, the information on it is posted at the drive-in teller at the bank.
At the bank, and it's also on Facebook as well. So,
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Might have to go by there after this, huh?
all right, moving on to item 7B, discussion and action on truck pull contract. You see that contract in front of you. I'm assuming you've all had a chance to read it, so I will take a motion to approve before we open up for discussion.
Take that motion.
Motion by Ken,
Second.
second by Megan, discussion.
Has this been reviewed and approved by the city attorney?
Deb?
No.
What was that, sir?
No,
No, it's not.
So.
Is this the same contract that we have every year? Or
I don't remember
I don't remember the
having
same
a
pages.
contract in the past.
yeah, it was the same one from last
And
We
year.
had one last year.
Same one from
Yeah.
last year.
It's the same one from last year.
We did?
Yeah.
And is it the same as last year?
Yes.
I move approval pending lawyers.
Oh, we have the, oh, so you're gonna do
Amend it.
an amendment?
Yeah. Yeah,
Approve,
guess we'd have
then
to.
we, the approval will be pending the review by the city attorney.
Correct.
And if the city attorney approves it, then it doesn't need to come back. That's the understanding.
that what you wanted to say?
That's what I,
That's exactly what he was
that's what I said I
thinking.
thought.
That's an
I'll second that.
amendment adjustment. Amendment made by Doug, second by Steve. Discussion. Hearing none. Doug,
Yes.
Ken,
Yeah,
Steve,
Yes,
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan.
Yes,
Now we're gonna go with the
amended
amended version of what
motion.
Steve just said.
Yeah.
Ken.
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes,
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
yes,
Doug.
Yes.
Okay. Discussion and action on GIS service for water and sewer. I talked to Tony about this, and I think it's in our best interest to put the whole project on hold.
Amen.
One, it's a lot of money. Two, there's a lot of moving parts with it as well. And he's been out on vacation. I've been busy, and I think a lot of people are busy right now as well to get everybody to come together. So I'd feel more comfortable if the council put it on hold for now, since it is a large chunk of money. But I'll take anybody else's thoughts.
so you're recommending that there be a motion to defer?
Yep.
So moved.
Motion by Steve to defer,
second.
second by Ken. Discussion. Hearing none. Steve,
Yes,
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
yes,
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yeah,
There we go. Item 7D, discussion and action to appoint selection review committee for Baldwin Street reconstruction, water main discussion and action. It's supposed to be two separate.
Two separate ones.
Reconstruction, water main.
This is the review committee that
Yes.
Wes talked about.
So we will not open this one up for a motion, since we do have to appoint a selection review committee before there is any action taken. Discussion from council.
I'd be willing to volunteer to be on the committee.
Volunteer by Steve
I will too,
and Ken.
since it has something to do with safety.
And
Sorry.
I think it'd be good to have Tony also be a member, since he will have to supervise
The
the
project.
construction.
So we'll go and tell him.
Okay, so I got Steve, Ken, and Tony, and this would be for the review committee for the Baldwin Street reconstruction of the water mains.
Take me off that one.
Okay. So Steve and Tony, is there another council person that would like to volunteer to be a part of the reconstruction selection review committee?
I can have.
Doug. So I will need a motion to approve Steve, Doug, and Tony as the selection review committee for item 7D.
So moved.
Motion made by Lauren, is there a second?
Yeah.
Second by Ken, discussion? Hearing none. Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes.
Okay, item 7, we'll call this E.
D.1.
Okay,
D2.
D2.
Well, the second half was
Yeah.
D.
Discussion and action on tornado sirens. I don't think there's
Put
any.
my name down for volunteer.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. I
I'll
don't
do
think there's,
sirens too, Jameson.
perfect. There's no real action that needs to be taken on this. So the tornado sirens were working. We had electronic engineering, Raycom, who's now in charge of Story County's emergency communication system. Came out, took a look at them, and what we're finding out is happening when Story County pages the tornado sirens off for Story County. Maxwell is one of the last to be paged, and there's transmitters or receivers in each of those sirens that when they go off, it hits those, and that siren's continuing to look for those certain tones that Story County set off. What they believe is happening is if those tones aren't set at a quick pace, then it times out on itself and then doesn't go off. So electronic engineering, who are the original people that put them in, and they are the original emergency communications for Story County, is going to have to come out and look at them. Now, they've been out and they have said, we're going to see what we can do. They may be outdated, you may need new receivers, or you may need all new tornado sirens. In which case, we wouldn't go through electronic engineering for those tornado sirens. We would have to go through Raycom, and tornado sirens are not cheap. They are now all on battery backup systems. The good news on that, though, is they no longer take the high voltage wire to it. It is now just a regular 110, yeah. And I think I've done some research, and you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars per siren. So
And how many do we have?
two.
And the
So-
one be replaced, that's just basically for the town and not the water treatment, the
It-
sewer treatment.
The treatment plant is also for web court and miners.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the treatment plant is for out there on that side of town.
East end of town.
So if we did, yes,
Does the city, does everyone in the town know that the sirens haven't been working all this time? Do people know that? I mean, that is a very, very important thing. And
it is.
I mean,
And
if
we-
people don't understand that,
We've been bringing it up. I've had a conversation after conversation with emergency management, with the county board of supervisors.
I've talked to
With-
Linda Merkin.
Yep.
I've been talking to her
Yep.
quite a bit.
Yep, and her and I had a conversation with Latifa, who's the head of
Yeah.
the
They
board of
both
supervisors.
have been contacting me, but I don't think the people in town even know that they're not working. I mean, that's a
So,
dangerous
As
situation.
of today, they're still not working.
Correct.
So as of today, I would suggest maybe that when the fire department gets some type of
Yep.
call, they can go around
Yep.
town.
And Tony and I had that conversation too. We're making it a little bit easier to flip the switch. So they're gonna get on the back of a pickup truck or fire truck or anything, and if they get called out, we're gonna flip the switch and have it all go off through town. So,
At both locations,
at both locations, yeah. So I'm at,
two pickups, so that one area, so that it doesn't take 5 minutes.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yep, and if it's that severe of a weather event, 9 times out of 10, the fire department is going to get called out for storm spotting anyway. So they can take two trucks out to change it, which also isn't a bad idea because you don't want all of your emergency vehicles in one place if you're about to get hit by a tornado anyway. So
So we've got, that's a good 10 foot off the ground, the one there by the kitchen.
Yep, and so how that,
You're still gonna need a ladder of some
how
kind.
we're gonna do that is we're gonna get it either on the back of a pickup truck or on the back of a, fire truck. And then get a pipe pole and flip the switch with a pipe pole. So.
We need to get the junk away from the base of that post too.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, they have to be fiberglass. So
Jameson.
there's
and
that,
I'm
and
just
there's,
thinking, I don't know these things, I'm not on the fire
Yeah.
department, but I'm thinking, wait, what?
yes.
They're gonna get on the truck and use
And
the
so,
pole?
and again, this is a good opportunity because we are not the only town that is having this issue in Story County. This is a good opportunity to talk about the E911. It's an app, it's a phone call, it's a text message. You can set it up however you want it to. And to get alerts right to your cell phone, right to your landline, right to your email, right to your a text message, to help alleviate some of that stress in those situations.
Is there any way on the sign that's right outside here that you can put on there that the sirens are not working now? And any solution you might have? Or in the newsletter or in the mayor's letter that goes out so that the
Yeah,
residents
we're
will
actually having a
know?
newsletter go out this month or next month, so we'll make sure that that goes in that as well.
Putting it on the message board outside, sirens temporarily not working. Please sign up for E911.
I think the biggest worry is when people are out in parks and stuff,
Yep.
and like kids, little kids out playing, they're not gonna have a phone, you know, they're not gonna be right there, hey, I got my phone on me. I mean, I've seen a lot of little kids out and about, I have, you know, and I've actually told people, hey, you know, the sirens aren't working. You know,
Sure.
There's a
so,
lot of people, I mean, even somebody who should have known
Yep.
told me that she didn't know about it.
We got some action plans that we will implement and go from there.
Jameson, why did you tell me at the last meeting that the sirens were working electronically?
Because they're
It
intermittent.
didn't go off on the third,
They're
the third Saturday.
intermittent. So,
Jameson was told by the county that they were working. It was tested and it worked. And subsequently, we found out that it's working intermittently. It doesn't work every time.
it's not like I'm out here working maliciously to tell everybody that they're
no,
not
but
working.
I know
Trying-
there was,
trying.
I know there was one time when you said they only go off on the third Saturday, that's
Saturday.
not true. I've talked to Nick up at the Story County Sheriff's
Okay.
Office, and they go off the same for every town in Story County.
Okay, that's
So
just
that
the
wasn't
information
true.
that I received from, I think it was Latifa that gave me that information, so.
See,
So
and I
could've
I haven't heard that from.
Okay.
Linda.
Well, I
What?
apologize to you guys for misspeaking, so.
What was your understanding
You
of what Jameson said?
I used to work at a police department, and I dispatched everything too.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Jameson said they're only going off on the third Saturday.
As a test.
As a test.
Yes, and as
Okay.
a test for every town in Story County to go off on the first and the third at noon,
First and third.
yes.
Okay, well, I wasn't aware of that. Okay, thank you.
So again, I apologize for misspeaking on that, so. We will move forward to item 7E, discussion and action on resolution transfer between funds for expenditures approved for the FY22 budget. In front of you, you do have that resolution. I'm assuming you have all been able to read over that. I will take a motion to approve before we get into discussion.
Move approval.
Moved by Steve,
Second.
second by Megan, discussion.
The transfers are per budget and which have been all approved after public hearings. So we just need to finish up the fiscal year.
Is that all the discussion? I forgot where I left off, so we'll go with Steve,
Yes,
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug, Ken.
Yeah.
Thank you. Item 7F, discussion and action on Story County Communications Plan. I will also assume that you guys have had time to look over this. And there are 3 to 5 pictures attached, so I will take a motion.
Are we submitting all the photos and letting them pick the ones that they feel best represent Maxwell, or are we submitting a couple and saying these best represent Maxwell?
That is a discussion if you'd like to have. We can open
Well,
that up.
it will affect the motion that's being made.
For sure.
So are we in discussion?
Yeah.
We can talk?
Yeah.
So, I like. Well, I wasn't following along, we got sidetracked. So, I like the flags, the fire trucks, and of course, the Rock Plaza. I think it would be nice, that pretty much all represents Maxwell as well as Old Settlers. It would be nice to have one of Market in the Park. And we could drop the one of just the buildings and people.
I think there was one in there.
I don't know where it went.
It didn't
Okay.
have like market or anything.
But I
on
mean,
it. It was
just
a bunch
of,
of
like-
people in the
Just
park.
the group.
Right,
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thank you.
We will, wherever that one is, we'll make sure that we get that submitted as well.
The one with the fire trucks. Every parade has a bunch of fire trucks, and so I don't know how that really is representing Maxwell.
I would put it as lowest of our rankings.
You
It was
want
a really
something-
cool, the football team with the American flag. That was pretty cool.
I haven't seen it.
Where
Yeah,
is
I didn't see
that
that
one?
one either.
Not all of them are printed, but.
I never received those.
Oh,
Let me see here.
Did I send those to you, Jameson?
I thought they were to everybody, but I could be wrong.
I didn't see them. But I know what football one you're talking about because it's the same one that Maxwell State Bank used for their website.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Could we Photoshop?
No, you have to stay. I like it. That's one of my favorite ones.
You know, the flag's draping over 2 of those other people.
Yeah.
I know, I
How
see
come
that
I'm
too.
flying
I'm
over, Steve?
thinking,
Oh, who is that?
Mark Reisdorf on the face on the left,
Is it George?
George
and
Jones.
George Jones in the sling on the
Yeah.
right.
Then Lincoln.
Lincoln. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See you guys.
People coming in.
Duty calls.
Here it is. This one?
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
that one was pretty awesome.
There's another one. Hi,
And
Misty. See ya. There's another one that Chris did.
Thank you.
And it's like
this one.
dark.
Yeah.
You want me
that's
to add
the
those two? So take out the fire trucks and do the Spartans
Fire trucks.
and this one.
And then take out buildings
Yes.
and the people. Everybody has buildings and people.
Okay. So I will, Deb, I'm gonna send these over to you real quick.
Okay.
I apologize. They were on
Bye, Sally.
Facebook.
Are you leaving too?
Yeah, in a minute.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, the one with Chris Kristen, it's different than that one. I know they changed the website now, but it was like dark with just the sunlight, like the sun setting in the back of all the football players and they're holding hands and the person in front's bringing out the flag. That one's really
I
cool
could
too.
try to find that one too.
Yeah, it's really neat.
There was a cool water tower one in there too.
Yeah.
That, you know, Maxwell across water tower.
Just that one? Or not?
Yeah,
That
that might
one
be
does-
too far away.
Yeah.
May not be relevant at all.
Okay, I sent those two to you, Deb. If you don't get them, let me know and I can try to resend them.
You can't get them to display on the TV.
No. My iPad won't let me do that.
That's why you need
Need the
something,
Pro, that's what I got.
something that's other than Apple.
I got a couple computers right here.
An Apple.
Those tablets.
Let me see what I can do. Hold on just a second. Okay. We do this. Do this. 3817. Okay.
There. Ta-da.
Cool.
That one.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to look scrunched in.
Right.
When it gets printed. So there's that one, and then this one.
I like that
I
part.
like that one. The football one is kind of overexposed on one
Yeah,
side
Chris
and
has a
may
better
not
one.
look too great.
I can reach out to Chris for a different one.
She has a really good one at the football team. A couple years
All right.
back.
So get those sent to Deb then.
Yep.
Whatever one you want for the football team.
Sure. So it sounds like we're going to be sending 4 pictures.
All right.
And those just have to be back to them by the 29th. So
29.
we're still in good state.
And the 4 we should recommend a title for each one.
Old Settlers
Old
Parade.
Settlers Parade in August, Story County Freedom Rock,
Collins Maxwell Spartans.
Collins Maxwell Spartans, and what was the other one?
Maxwell
Market in the
Spartans.
Park.
Oh, Maxwell's Market in the Park every Sunday.
May through
May through September.
And Old Settlers the first full weekend in August.
Or August.
So I think that was a motion made by Steve, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought somebody seconded it.
Oh, you did just now.
Just now.
Yeah.
I heard that.
So motion made by
seconding
Steve, second by
everything.
Megan. Discussion.
Moving.
Hearing none. Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug, Ken,
Yeah.
Steve.
Yes.
Cool.
Item number
G.
F.
7G.
We're done with that.
We're done with that.
Yeah, 7G.
G.
Set date and time for Woodlawn resident meeting on storm drains.
So is this like a town hall?
Yeah, but it has to be published because I think the majority of us ultimately are there.
So
So we got
how long do we have?
10 days or something like
10 days.
that. Is it 10 days, Deb?
Not for a town hall. It just has to be 24 hours.
24 hours?
So you don't have to put it in the paper or anything.
No. And I'd like to see as many people on Woodlawn show up because obviously this is next.
Well, let's
Yeah.
not do it on the 18th
How
because
about
it
the
sounds like there's 3 meetings.
There is.
Well, ours is gonna be in the morning, 10 o'clock in the
Okay.
morning, so.
Why not just push it to the 25th?
What day is that? The
It's a
Monday?
Monday. 2 Mondays from now.
Will we send letters to the residents out there?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Mhm.
I would certainly support that as part of the motion.
Time?
Okay, stupid question, but is this because of the school construction or is this a totally separate thing we're trying to maybe put storm drains on Woodlawn?
We are trying to move the water at a better pace
Right?
and in better way.
But it's not just because of the construction at the school.
Right.
Okay,
Correct.
so we're
I think
trying to
the
rectify the
construction-
problem we've had.
Yeah, I think the construction at the school just brought it more to light.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the 25th then, is that what we're saying?
Actually, can we move it to like 26th? We got hockey on those nights.
Dude, that's my birthday, not the 26th. Can we move it to the 27th?
A Wednesday night?
Oh, is that bad for church?
Summer, there isn't much church going on.
There's not like youth group on during the summer.
No, I don't think
No, I don't think any of the churches
all
have
the
Wednesday evening.
church, what do you call it, vacation, Bible
Yeah.
vacation.
They should all be
Done.
done.
Okay.
27th?
Unless they're
27th,
having snow.
no snow's down
I
until
think,
fall.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think it's done.
And let's shoot for like a 6 o'clock instead of a 6:30. That way it's not going too late.
So July 27th.
Okay.
That works for everyone.
Does Wes, will he attend that?
Yeah, he wants to.
Well,
We're gonna
we
need
want
him.
to check his schedule then too.
July 27th at 6 PM tentatively, depending on Wes's
At
schedule.
the Legion or here?
I would suggest at the Legion Hall,
It's more-
because that, when we talked about it with Wes, that way he could put up his big posters, people could float around the room and ask questions.
Did you get that backup date if Wes can't do it then? Thursday?
Or we can move it to August.
I was gonna say I can't on the 28th.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Okay.
Cross our fingers.
Okay.
See where it is, sure.
Okay. Alright. That doesn't need a motion or action, so we'll move on to 7H, discussion and action to approve new member to Board of Adjustments and Planning and Zoning. We will,
Did we
She
have
didn't give you
in
the
the
sheet, did you?
packet who it is?
Deb just said she didn't get the sheet.
There's only one, Joe Polanski.
Valinsky.
Oh, Polanski.
Mm.
Joe Polanski.
He would be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
The other two were from out of
He
town.
used to
so-
be the like general manager of the Adventure Lane, didn't he?
Oh, I know. Oh,
Joe walks
lives up
around.
there. Okay.
Joe lives right
Oh, but
down here.
Volunteer.
All right.
I'll volunteer.
I move to approve Joe.
Moved by Doug,
Second.
second by Megan, discussion. Hearing none. Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken,
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes,
Lauren.
Yes.
how many positions were we filling?
One.
Just one.
Item 7I, discussion action to notify of dead trees in the right of way.
I asked this be put on the agenda for discussion, and the only action that we would take would be approval of a plan. And the ordinance, city ordinance says that the city will inspect and cause to be inspected any tree or shrub in the city reported or suspected to be dead, diseased, or damaged, and such trees or shrubs are subject to, if it's on the city property, then, which includes the strip between the sidewalk and the street, and the park, and the cemetery, any city property. The council may cause such condition to be corrected or treated or removed. The council may also order removal of any trees on the street of the city which interfere with the making of improvements or with travel thereon. Well, that does not apply because we're just talking about diseased trees right now. And if it's on private property, the council notifies by mail the owner and asks them to correct such condition. by treatment or removal within 14 days of the notice. And if they fail to do it, then the council can go in and do it. Well, I think I know we have lots of diseased ash trees in the right of way. I know we have a few dead trees in the park. And so what I propose that we do is that we solicit a proposal from an arborist to inspect trees in the right of way on the city park or other city property to identify if a tree is dead, which should be pretty easy. It gets a little bit more complex if it's diseased or if it's damaged. An arborist should be able to indicate something in those three categories. The trees would then be marked with an X if it's dead, and then other letters if it's diseased or damaged. I suggested a W and a Z just because it's the end of the alphabet. The arborist would also, without entering private property, note on a map the location of trees on private property which are dead, diseased, or damaged using a similar identifying system. And then the city would publish on its Facebook page and send letters to all residents indicating that why we have all these trees marked and what's going to be happening to them, that the dead trees would be removed after we negotiate a contract with a tree removal firm within 30 days of the contract being signed. Diseased trees would either be cured or removed within a year, and damaged trees would be repaired in 60 days or be subject to being marked for removal. So if we want to follow, we have an obligation to take care of the trees on city property. I think that this plan moves us forward. We get an inventory of what our obligation is from an arborist that knows what they're doing, as opposed to me just walking up and down the street saying, well, this one looks like it's diseased. And then once we have the inventory, we can go for a contract with a firm saying we have X number of trees, here are the locations. Of course, we don't have a GIS map to do this anymore, but we would have to come up with some other way of mapping it out. And
We still have the
get
GIS
bids.
map though, we just don't have the GPS unit.
And then get bids based on the number of trees that have to be removed. Anything that's diseased may then the following year be marked for removal. If it's dead the following year and the year after that. But in this first year, let's get the dead trees out of city property. And notify property owners if they have dead trees on their property that they need to be taken care of also. And that's
Sounds like a motion.
That's what I suggest, and I'm certainly open to alternate plans, and it certainly would be possible to make a motion that we follow this plan, but I'd like to hear other council people's input before we make a motion.
I like the plan.
I do too.
I think
One of
the-
the biggest concern is the cost to
The citizen.
our people,
You mean,
especially private property
citizens?
stuff, because, you know, to correct this, have the tree down or whatever in 14 days,
Yeah.
their water bill just went up every month, and now the cost of a tree taken down is a lot of
A lot of
money.
money.
nowadays.
Yeah, could be $1,000.
Yeah, could be
It could
$1,000
be.
easily,
I've had to
if
cut
not more.
down
Yeah.
a huge ash tree. and
So that's my only concern.
That's why
on
in
private
this,
property
in this
is
plan,
the days of how long it takes after you get.
Yeah.
that's why in this plan, I suggest that we inventory first.
Yes,
We
I like
then
that idea.
let people know
Right.
before we send out the 14-day notice and give them 60 days.
Yeah.
At the end of that 60 days, we then send out the 14-day notice that they have 14 days to take care of it. And I don't know how many of these there are,
Right.
but let's get the inventory, because if it takes $1,000 to remove trees from the right of way, and we have 30, or on city property, and we have 30 trees, that's $30,000. That's a major
It's amazing.
cost to the city also. But we don't know without the inventory.
But the 14 days, I mean, tree removal services right now are backed up like crazy. So the
That's
14
why
days,
that's why we're giving them 60 days by letter, knowing that they will be getting a letter.
I would
That
even
gives them
let it
14
be okay if they said, on the 13th day, I've contacted this person, and
Right.
it'll be 3 months before I get them. I
Yeah.
would be okay with that.
What is
too. So, I
considered
mean,
the, help me out here. Since there's no terrace, sidewalk, yard, you know what I mean? What is considered right of way from the street? How many, is there so many feet from the street to where the tree is?
You live on Maxwell Street, right?
Yes.
The right of way on Maxwell Street is 66 feet wide. And so
Center of the street.
generally, from the center of the street, you come back 33 feet, and that'll approximately be your property line.
Okay.
Give or take a couple feet.
is that on all streets?
No,
Absolutely.
most streets in town, in the old portion of town, were platted at 66 feet wide. One of the streets, Broad, as is its name, is broader. It's 80 feet wide. There are a couple streets that are only 60 feet wide, and there's one street that's 50 feet.
How do we find out?
That's public record, and that information is available by contacting City Hall.
You can also look that up on the assessor website. It'll show the right of ways on.
It shows the right of ways, but I haven't ever seen where it tells you the width. You have to go in and measure it yourself.
Right, right,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah.
Measuring tool, which
Yep.
can be a pain.
Pain. Yep.
But
But it's there.
Yeah.
So,
you should be able to tell the difference between the 60 and the 50, and you might be able to tell the difference between the 60 and 66. But I certainly would not use the property lines on the assessor's page as definitive of where the property lines are.
The pins in your yard, would they be marked, the right markings?
Yes, if you know where your property line pins are, then
Okay.
that supersedes everything else. So we
I'll
want to
second
give them 90 days instead of 60?
You want 90 days?
That's fine. I'd rather give them some time.
Is that a motion?
That'll be my second.
Ooh.
Okay.
Second.
So Steve motions to approve with a 90-day notice. Ken seconds. Discussion. Hearing none. Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Ken,
Yeah.
Steve,
Yes,
Lauren.
Yes.
Item 7I, discussion action on nuisance properties. In front of you, you do have that list. I think we were gonna go back and from last week or last month and review where we're at in these. Does anybody have any updates?
I do.
Lauren,
I have updates for 618 Metcalf. I got over, took some pictures. There's been quite a few complaints here recently. Additional outbuildings, accumulation of junk, and overall appearance of the yard. So I was able to, with assistance, get some pictures of 618 Metcalf, and I'll pass these around for you guys to look at so that we're all on the same page. But I'm working with Deb and being in contact with Safe Buildings at this point to see how many outbuildings the citizen can have, just how unsafe the building is. That's not really accurate, Deb, right? Because there's nothing really wrong structurally. It's just how many outbuildings the owner can have.
How many outbuildings? He can also write up reports on junk
Sure.
vehicles.
Okay.
And that's what the attorney
advice.
advised, that we get Safe Building to write up any ordinance violations that he has found.
Okay. I do not have any update on, let me get my 515s right here.
Fifth Street?
515 Fifth.
Yes,
Is that on corner, or is that?
that's the house on stilts.
House
Yeah,
on
that's
Stilts? I don't have a update there. I almost wonder if we should also get Safe Buildings involved there as well.
So what's the, I'm sure there's a permit code.
I think August.
August is
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I know.
yeah, and the last update I had was,
Just the
I
one.
believe that the resident was working on it, so I guess we'll wait till August and go from there.
Cars there every day. I don't really see much change though.
No.
From day to day.
No change.
the resident also has the right to renew the permit for another year.
Yep.
I believe
I think you're right.
that would be something which Safe Buildings could certainly advise us on.
These pictures are from the first house you talked
Yeah.
about?
618 Metcalf.
Yeah.
521 Fifth Street, which I think is just to the east of
Yeah, it is.
515. No change there. No real update. No, the grass is rather tall. The weeds are taking over in the back. I think the resident came in and spoke with Deb. Really don't know where to go from here.
521.
So can I just ask, these people have had letters sent?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But there's been nothing done different.
Yeah, out of the ones on my list, that these are the ones that I have updates on.
Just
Did
one
you get a
letter?
picture of the back
Or
of that
just-
one?
Some of these have multiple letters.
One, yeah, 1 and 2 at this point.
Go further back on that one, on the 521 Fifth.
I don't know if you can see
To the
it.
back of the
You need to
house.
go like
Yeah,
more north and then look back towards the house. You can see.
it's
Oh, halfway down.
Structurally.
Yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah.
a
And
ball
they
game.
There you go.
they were notified of the
Oh, are they?
.14 ordinance,
It's got a little-
Okay.
which would be structure. I think I have that number right.
Because you can see the back half, or right past that top peak, that that's being covered by the bush.
And you know what, even this
There it is.
picture is not really,
Yeah, yeah,
that
it's
is
detached.
detached from the house at this point.
Is there, I mean, I'm assuming safe building.
I'm wondering
Oh,
if I
take a
could
look
get
at
safe
that.
buildings in on that one.
What I'm worried about this one is I'm worried about those that are living in that. I
And
mean,
I'm
I
worried
don't
about
want
what
that.
this will, you look at just with any other nuisance property, you look at it and you go, okay, yeah, something has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
But what? What can we put on the citizen to do? I mean, who are we to say, fix it? Well, if the citizen comes back and says, I can't, what do we do? So
Do
that's,
you need
I'm at-
help doing it, and is there anybody willing to help tear that down for
You're
you?
from the Methodist
Would you
Church, right?
accept that help?
Do you guys still do the
They
house?
just, they just went down to, where the tornado go through, Interstate.
Mhm.
10 people just went down
I was
there and
gonna say,
helped a guy that lost 3 of his family members
Yes.
down there last weekend. That might be something I can,
The question is gonna be, I think,
if they're
first order of
open to it.
business is to get safe builders out there.
And do
Yeah.
what?
The second order of business is if, and they say that it's strong, if the Methodist Church can fix what's happening there, because it's,
That may be up beyond what
right,
Ricky's
that
can
might be
do.
foundation.
Right.
That might be
Yeah,
something
structural like that, I
structural.
don't know that they can get into it and do any good.
in which case,
Just tear it
there
down.
may be some places out there
That's
that,
somebody's home. We can't,
Not that back end isn't.
Well,
That back end is just, there's no way they could be using it for anything because it is falling in on all
well,
directions.
it's gonna be, like I said, safe buildings, see what they
Yeah.
say.
Start with that, yeah.
Any other updates?
312 Maxwell Street.
Yep.
That is west of the school. No change, actually, at this point, I would say, going downhill.
oh, so on the front side of the school.
The front is moving now.
Kinda.
Yeah, if
not
you,
much. Justin.
that's another structural, issue on the north side.
What was it, 312 Maxwell Street?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's across from like the big gym, the
Yep.
new gym.
Yep.
And I think
You are
that's her maiden name.
Jeez, you're making it bad.
It should be Shield or Shrill or something like that.
Yeah, she'll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably all the way down.
You mentioned safe buildings. Is that who I would contact on a rental property that has some major problems? Like they have been notified 9 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago,
You have,
and
you
still.
have to
Well,
start by
what
talking
you
to
would
the
need to do is,
city.
let the city know of the
I
concern.
did.
And the city would contact Safe Building.
Okay. It's the brick four,
Fourplex?
and there's been black mold on the back fascia, on the underside. The roof has now got a leak. I know all of the underlayment there on the roof is probably mush now. It
Is this-
needs a new roof. There's other things that,
The next one south
South,
of the corner.
right there.
Yes, right there.
And it's the north side of the house, right?
Yes.
That's the problem.
I think it's there's a whole section of siding missing, but if I'm not mistaken, this is the chimney. I remember there being a chimney that is
Falling down.
falling off, or
Mhm.
fell down
Partially.
partially.
Buried boards, old house.
Really old house.
Really old house. And
I
then
know Zoe and Justin have lived there for quite some time.
if you sneak in on the alley side, there's significant accumulation of what we call junk.
So, recommendation to send safe builders to this house as well.
Yes, I would, let's do 618 Metcalf. Can't do 515, can I?
Yeah,
House
I
less
think-
built.
I would say yeah.
Yes.
I'm afraid to walk my dog past there. It creaks. I'm just
So-
waiting for that house to go boom.
618, 515,
The
521,
winds we've been
And
having.
312.
No, I'd be scared to death if I lived next door.
and 312.
312 Maxwell. That's this one.
Gotta find it on my sheet here.
It's on the same as 618. It's page 3.
What's on page 3?
312 Maxwell. It's down at the bottom.
If they're
618.
coming out doing, building, safety inspections, then we should add the fourplex
Onto that.
onto that. Metcalf
Please.
and
Six.
6.
Six the Metcalf.
Yeah.
What's the address there?
And you buy
Uh,
something.
Can you go to,
it's
are you
on
on,
my
what are you
list.
on?
Let me go to
Um,
Beacon.
I was gonna say.
That's owned by
523.
Riker.
Sesker?
523.
Sesker. I thought that, it could have changed hands. I have no idea.
523 Metcalf.
Sure.
My apologies. I did that. That's on my
Safe. And that one is also safe.
Yeah, when
on
you're
my.
looking at it,
Yeah, it's Sesker Properties, 523 Metcalf.
I did have some yard complaints as far as mowing and weeds and that sort of thing, but I did not go,
There we go.
you know,
First
back
page.
around and do a walk around the. So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's right on the first page, Jameson.
And look at this,
Oh, yeah.
it needs a total inspection, inside and out.
yeah, I don't know whether we have the authority to
Right.
do anything inside or not.
We don't have an
Uh,
ordinance for that.
We looked into that a few years ago and, the attorney, indicated our ordinance does not authorize us to go into rental properties.
Okay, does this safe building, do they have the authority to
No,
go in?
no,
No,
they
they're
only have
working
whatever
for us.
authority the city has.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
They're
so
on
who do
behalf
we
of us.
contact for
Oh, what-
invoice?
We can certainly look at the outside.
Okay, well, that definitely,
Would that become a
I
DHS
guess if
issue?
it's a problem on the inside, the people on the inside should be contacting their,
Right.
they are,
Exactly.
and nothing is getting done.
then they need to go further and attack, you know,
I'm a lawyer.
How about that?
get a hold of somebody
Yeah,
and
the one behind
can do that.
Barrett.
Senior housing.
I told them
Senior
just
housing.
hire an electrician to come in and do what needs to be done, deduct it for rent.
Is that on Fifth Street?
It's
down
behind
the
Fifth
street.
Street,
With the
yeah.
receipt.
Straight west of senior
That's-
housing, southwest of senior housing.
No, I think he said it was not the one. Yeah, that's, I
behind-
know the one you're talking about behind
Do you?
Barrett. Mhm,
There's 621
I don't know.
Fifth also.
that one.
It's a barn in the backyard, southwest of senior housing, east of you.
That's back behind my green.
621.
Is this the one
Yes.
that they said they were
Oh.
working on?
Yeah, that's the one that kind of looks like a mobile home that
I
they
think
just
their
moved
letter
in
stated
and
that they
have,
were working on it.
Yeah.
they have a
It's
dog
back
rescue
there.
or something like that, that
See
they
letter
run
in
out of
packet,
their
I'll leave
home.
it.
And they have kids.
I don't know how long we gave them, but let's just give them.
They're
Working on-
trying, they're
And I
working
see
on
that
it.
there's tie back in a new window in there too, so. Anything else under nuisance properties? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 9A, approval of alcohol permit for Old Settlers. In front of you, you do have that permit.
Do we
I
know
just
the-
noticed it said, waiting for approval of
Graham Shop.
Graham Shop insurance, and so
Okay.
I would want to approve it without it.
Well, that's normal, and the state, will not approve, it without Graham Shop and city approval. And so it's always been an issue in trying to get liquor license in all previous years that I did it, that you don't have dram shop insurance at the time you submit to the city because dram shop tends to wait until it has all other approvals.
Okay. All
So
right, that's it.
it'd be a chicken and egg thing
Thank you.
if we did that.
Chicken and egg thing. Yeah.
However, we had significant discussion at the last council meetings, and it may or may not be in the minutes. I haven't gotten to that yet, about identifying a area in the park where liquor will be consumed.
Right. We don't have
And
that map.
we approved
Do we?
the
I don't remember.
liquor permit.
Yeah, it was on top.
I don't remember.
Oh, here, you can just look at mine. 'Cause I
We
know
approved the liquor permit for
it was paper
the
clipped.
previous weekend, subject to
Corner
putting
post
up a
market.
fence. Or putting up
Markers.
markers to indicate
Even with the
where
wood structure on the
people
north and then
can
there's
drink
gravel.
and outside they cannot.
Yep.
I think we should have similar language for Old Settlers.
Mhm.
And it shouldn't be a problem because they put up a fence every year. But this permit, and I was looking for my, oh, here it is. This permit does not have with it anything that indicates a fenced area. The premises is
City Park at First Street and
City
Trotter.
Park,
Between-
First Street, the Trump.
Yeah.
Up towards the top of the first page.
which is the whole park,
Right.
and
No, it's,
we need to
Yeah,
put in, to be fair, the same restriction that
Right.
we did last month. So
I
now,
agree with that.
I'm looking at the minutes to see what that is.
That's what I was looking for too. Well,
It was toward the end of the meeting.
correct.
Here we go. 9D.
9D dog.
Says the
Third
area, the area bordered by Old Settlers Way, south and east, east-west line from the north boundary of the wooden playground equipment at Army Post Road West.
And so I move that the alcohol permit be issued for Old Settlers, subject to the area for alcohol consumption not exceeding the same area as done for Mark in the Park. And I believe they'll have a smaller area.
Less
but-
than that, but not larger. Yep.
Okay, so that's a motion made by Steve.
And so you can just pick up the exact language that's in the minutes, I believe.
Yep.
That it's bordered by Old Settlers Way, south and east, and east-west line for the north boundary at the wooden playground equipment and Army Post Road West.
I'll second.
Motion by Steve, second by Doug. Discussion. Hearing none. I have no idea where I left off. Ken.
Ken, yes.
Never gets clear to you.
Steve. Yes.
Oh, you always
Lauren.
said-
Yes.
Megan.
Yes.
Doug. Yes. Council leader reports. Steve, what do you got?
In working on the shelter at the Freedom Rock Plaza, I noticed that what we as a city are missing down there is a water fountain and maybe a faucet that would be placed either on the north side of the plaza or on the south side of the plaza. We get a lot of visitors down there, and we don't have a Casey's anymore for people to get drinks. So having a water fountain like we have down in the park where somebody can get a drink, and having a faucet that is secured and not easy to turn on without the right tool would allow power washing of the plaza and maintenance. So I'd like the Public Works people to take a look at that and report back to the council what it would take and where the best location would be.
You're worried about people leaving the water on so the park doesn't flood?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
just double checking.
There's, yeah,
Otherwise,
Jay's
we
and
have to
Dollar
report
General,
we'll lose 1.4
during
million.
the day, they can hit something.
Only charge
Yeah,
for
but there's a lot of
1 million.
people there on the Sundays and evenings,
We have a faucet they have to hold, turn it on, keep it on, when you should release it, so.
just like the one in the park, the
Yeah.
ones that kids love to play with. But you don't
So
waste
my only
much
concern with
water.
that is I think every store I've gone into since 2020, they have garbage bags over almost all of them because they won't
Right.
allow
Yeah.
people to use
They're
them.
not
So
working,
I don't know how
Not
I
with
don't-
COVID.
care, but
Yeah.
So that'd be just a concern. But I like
Well,
that.
we haven't taken away the one
And
in
there's
the
a
park
nice one
yet.
on the sale.
So,
I think maybe it should be.
Outdoor?
But it could be.
Anything else, Steve?
not that I can remember.
Lauren?
Yes. I'm gonna go back to June 6th, in regards to Ms. Archer's public forum. After that public forum, I went home and I didn't feel very good about it. So I had great conversations with Sharon and Pat with the museums. And they were unaware of any picnic that was trying to take place, as Miss Archer stated. But I am again offering, and I told Pat and Sharon both, if they hear of this picnic or anything for that matter in regards to the museum, if they would like to have a picnic on Sunday in the park, specifically the city park, I am offering to move the market time. I'm also offering to have the picnic during the market time. I will not have music that day. I will pay for the bin to have the picnic, and they can have the picnic down there with a bunch of friends. And if they would rather not do that, I will move the market time to a different time frame. So I am also working with them to promote the hours of the museum on our Facebook page the last week of every month. So the last week of every month, that Sunday from 1 to 4, I believe the museums are open. So the week that I'm promoting the market at the end of the month, I'm also throwing in promotions for the museum. I'm going to work with Kelly that was here too. She lives across the street from me. For more pictures, more ideas, events that are going on. So I will be working hand in hand with museums more than what I was doing before, which was nothing. And Miss Archer called me out on it. So I will be doing something.
Is there anything on the website with hours for the museum? Just sidebar.
I'm not
She's
sure.
been putting
It
out a
is.
lot of stuff. I've seen a lot of stuff over
Yep, and their Facebook page is
their Facebook pages.
booming right now
Okay.
too. So
Okay.
Anything else?
one more.
Yep.
This Friday, 1 o'clock, I'm going to take advantage of the new MIPA, what is that called? Registration subscription that we have now monthly. MIPA is going to come to town, specifically his name is Caleb, at 1 o'clock. And Caleb and I and Jameson, and this is my invitation to anyone else that would like to join, will tour.
But no more
Maxwell.
than 2 more other people, please.
No more than 2 other people.
Otherwise, it's public.
Otherwise, it
public
is,
meeting.
that's right,
Or,
that's right,
yeah.
public forum. So No more than two, right? Besides,
Well, I guess no more than one besides you.
One besides
one
you.
besides
Yeah.
you.
Because
one
he's
more.
considered.
So one besides me and Jameson.
Yep.
Okay. Let me know if you'd like to attend. We will be touring the town. Caleb's gonna get a good idea of what our Main Street looks like, for a potential Main Street, Iowa, grant writing. He's gonna look at the park, he's gonna look at the bathrooms, he's gonna look out in Rock Creek to see if there's any potential funding out there. We're just gonna talk about a bunch of things and see what kind of funding is available for us, so. 1 o'clock, I think we said in front of the bank, but let me know who would like to, and then whoever comes first. We'll use them.
Flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
Or I'll walk away.
So he's very excited.
What else?
I think that's all I have.
Megan?
I saw on the agenda that we were gonna talk about the mowing letters, but I don't see it now.
Is that a part of the nuisance properties?
Maybe. I guess, how many have we sent out, and is this like a regular, like every week? Are people, or are we making people tell us? Or does the city actually go around and get addresses?
Yep.
That's a D thing.
That's a D thing. Okay.
She used to go around and look, but this year she has not.
Is
Okay.
this in regards to people not mowing?
Yeah.
I think she's
Or
sent out
half mowing it and
Or
leaving it
letters.
for a week and then getting to the other half. Yeah. Yeah.
And then having a sign in your front yard, is everybody happy now?
Well, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying
Just
there
don't
are
even
a
go
lot
there.
of-
It was
Don't
funny.
even go
It was
there.
funny.
Don't even go there.
It was funny. I was
Please.
making a
I
joke,
was-
not
So-
digging.
I got yelled at for making jokes.
Oh, okay.
We
Yeah,
did.
that's not at all what I'm saying. I just think that maybe we need to, on a consistent basis, be going out. And if it's up to us, I'm fine. I can go out, and I go out every morning anyway. But I just didn't know if that was our responsibility to do that in our sections, or is it like, is somebody for the actual city doing that?
Yeah, typically, it's-
With gas being the way it is, D hasn't went out.
Okay,
I'm happy to
Would she
help.
like to borrow my
or maybe we just all do our own section.
three-wheel bicycle?
Maybe.
Let's just do, yeah, I like Megan's
I'd say
proposal.
just like the nuisance properties, do our own sections, and we
Report
can
back.
do it, yeah, we can report back to the city.
you can do it once a month or once a week. Okay.
Yep.
Anything else, Megan?
No, I don't think so.
Doug?
Steve sent an email as a reminder, and I had blown it off completely about, what was that last one today?
Starlink? The
Oh, yeah. you said something about
communications
Starlink.
or?
No,
Mm-mm.
something about budget that we were, somebody and me.
Oh, you, yeah, that's the finance committee looking at, communications. That was on the last month's meeting.
Okay.
Because
I haven't done that
We
yet.
did not act on it. We said we would act on it this month, but, it didn't make it to the agenda because I didn't
You
get
can hold off on
information.
that
Okay.
because A, timeframe, B, cost.
Okay, so that was the only thing I had a question about.
But I did email, you and Megan. Jameson got a copy also. I can't remember if I sent it out to anybody else. That has all the costs for all of our phone lines, data
That's what it
lines,
was.
Yes, yes.
and
So that's all,
everything.
okay, that was the only.
All the information that I had collected during the budget time. And if we want to have put a plan together like we did for the trees as to how to approach it. One of the things we might want to do is just run a cable between the firehouse and here. We can make sure that the, 2 data lines that we have are getting the 100 megabytes that we're paying for. And, you know, there's some groundwork that we could do, which would then help in the decision of where we're going.
Yeah, because I think if we got rid of our phone lines right now and went to voice over IP, it would not work. Our data coming in would not be able to support those. So
But we certainly might be able to get rid of one of the phone lines that we have, because we have a city hall phone line and we have a fax phone line. Well, you can buy a fax switch that you can put on your phone line, so that if you want to send a fax, you can flick a switch and let you send a fax. And if you pick up the phone and you get this weird tone, you can flick the switch and the fax machine will receive it. So that would allow us to get rid of a $60-some phone line. And I think the EMS earlier said that they want to replace, with an iPad, one of, you know, so they can do their reports and whatnot. Well, we're paying for $30-some for a data line, over at the fire department. Well, if they're gonna be doing this on an iPad that is cellularly done, there's another line that we could get rid of.
Yep.
So there's probably some cleanup that we can do without saying that we're going to jump into Starlink.
yeah, I think there is some cleanup. One thing that we will have to keep in mind, if they go to cellular data over there, they're not going to be able to use the iPad at all in the fire station, because you don't get any service because of all the metal. There's no service whatsoever.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter what carrier you're on.
But
Or if you open a door, you might get a couple.
so what I did down at the VFW was put in a transceiver, little antenna that goes on the roof, and you run a cable down inside the building and it retransmits. And you can get perfectly good cell phone and data.
Yeah, it helped a lot.
Do you have to go per carrier on that, or is it just standard?
It's a standard 4G regardless of the carrier.
Gotcha. Cool.
I think it costs $200, and
It helped a lot.
Yeah.
yeah,
You used to
it
be
made
able
it
to
so
not
you can get
do anything on your phone, and now you can do whatever you want down there.
So do you think they need 2? One
No.
for the back room and one for the
No.
front room?
No. And the other thing, I think he was looking for the iPad for when they're in their house, taking all the information.
Yeah, vitals and all that. Okay. Cool.
But you could do that.
Yeah.
I think
Let's look into that.
there's some little things that we could do that, and I think that Doug and Megan, can look at that, and, we can just kind of put a plan together.
Doug, anything?
That was all.
Ken?
Did the bugs get taken care of in the library? I mean, what is the deal there? They had a big,
We haven't had any here. So what was told is if they want to contact an exterminator, they can.
that's what I
That's
thought.
part of their,
You see
part of the
bugs,
budget.
contact somebody.
Yep.
So, right.
Yep.
That's all I got, because the building permit thing was answered earlier. And, the other thing I'd written down, I'm going to take to the Legion meetings.
Do what?
I'm gonna take my idea to the Legion meeting instead of here.
Idea on what?
Well, in the city of Rhinebeck, I was there for 4th of July, and what I noticed was not everybody, but quite a few, I think they said like 400 flags were put out in everybody's front yard, and they do it 5 times a year. And I think the Legion did it. And everybody buys that flag for $75. And then 5 times a year, Memorial Day, 4th of July.
So this is on private property.
In fact, when I was going out to the country to our class reunion thing, there were a couple of country people that also did it. So, you know, anybody on 210 or
Cool.
Yeah, like Sorensen's old house.
like they would be able to do it,
Yeah.
and whoever. Yep. We're going out this way to. So that was just an idea.
Yeah, it's a-
It looked really nice, but I think I'll bring
Good
it up
thing to bring it up.
to the Legion.
Love it.
I had a meeting with Scott Oaks last Tuesday. I gave him the same offer that we gave Brenner, which was $235,000 up front. Again, coming from ARPA funding and the TIF district, and then the TIF rebate as well. They like the idea. One of the things that they're trying to work through is Scott is wanting to change those from half-acre lots to 1-acre lots. In which case, what's going to end up happening is you'd have to build all 10 of those houses in like a year or two in order to get your full TIF rebate back and that would be after 14 years. And so they are wanting to come in and meet with us at some point, probably at our August meeting, to show us the plan. Now, the other part of that too is he wants to sell as 1-acre lots, but he's gonna overlay the half-acre plot lands on it as well. So what essentially that would do is you can buy the acre lot and then you can sell off the half-acre, and it'd still be buildable, is what he's saying. So,
Why?
we'll have him.
Why wouldn't I want to buy a half-acre or just 2 or 3?
In case you're sitting on it for
Yeah.
so long, and then next thing you know, there's this half-acre that you don't want to mow anymore. So as he presented, my thought is half-acre lots would probably be perfect for out there. For one, the tax dollars would be there.
I think 1 acre is more desirable,
Yeah.
but half acre is more affordable
Yeah.
for people.
So
Right now.
Yeah, 1-acre
If you wanna
lot
buy
would
two,
be 800. Well, David Maris lot is 1 acre.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I think-
mine is too.
Yeah, yours is.
Yeah.
So,
I can't imagine having I can't imagine having half of that
Mine
and
is-
putting a house on it.
Mine is just shy of a half-acre, I believe.
Yeah, we have enough acre.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's more than enough.
Granted, our
for
lot's very long.
Yeah.
But
When this city was platted, it was platted with 50-foot wide lots. And what almost everybody did is they would buy 2 lots, or they would buy 3 lots, or they'd buy a lot and a half. There are a lot of 75-foot wide lots in town because people bought a lot and a half. And the next person bought the other half with their lot. By doing 1-acre lots with an overlay that would allow the lot to be split, technically that would work. But it is also overly complex. If you just plat the thing out in half-acre lots, then people can buy 2, or they can buy 1,
yeah.
or they can buy 1 and a half.
so let's say you're gonna build your house on that 1-acre lot here.
right,
And then what half are you
And
gonna
then-
sell?
what have to sell?
You won't be able to sell.
Then you won't be able to
Your
do
house
anything.
goes.
So everybody's
For sure.
house would be here, you know.
Right, in preparation or anticipation of selling the other half.
Megan, did you say you were on an acre lot?
Just under an acre.
And Rock
And
Creek,
so
the
are
first lots
Petrillos.
to sell were the 3-acre lots. And then our size, the 3, half-acre, that's what was left over, so that's what we got. But the 3-acre lots went first. every one of them was sold before.
I get-
507, quit scrolling, you're hurting
But
my
they
eyes.
weren't
507.
built first.
Oh
sold
my gosh,
first, but
why
they
are
weren't
you
built.
scrolling? Picturellos
All
are
but
the
a few
same.
of them were.
Picturellos are set up a little different though,
Not all
'cause
of
they
them.
have like,
Not all of them,
backside
no,
yards.
but they
Theirs
were
isn't.
all
There were a lot
Through.
of houses
Look at all
on
those
half
dead
acre
trees.
lots that were
Oh,
built
that's winter.
No,
for
it isn't. They are
the 3
dead.
acre
We
lots.
have to
were
get
finished.
8 removed from
Well,
the tree strip
8 of them?
still. 8 of them still in the back.
So different people
that's-
have different desires.
Yeah,
You
but
got one
that's,
lot, too.
you
Are
know-
you 2 lots then?
I'm just
Couldn't
saying
tell ya.
that the bigger
I just
lots,
know we bought it.
when
It was
people
like
want
that.
to move out of the towns or out of the
Millers
cities,
owned it before us.
they're wanting the room. That's why I'm
And
saying.
actually,
Mine
ours
had 2
was
lots.
wider. We sold off part to the east.
Okay.
So see where the little
Yeah.
red dots are? We sold that little sliver off so that
Ah,
we weren't like right outside our neighbor's bedroom window to them.
I see.
So you're at
Yours is twice as deep as it is wide.
0.6.
Yes.
What am I at? 0.55.
And go to 800. Baldwin.
Yeah. At the very end, by the right across from the
Where's
cemetery,
the cemetery at, right?
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not- Oh, they don't have it on the assessor website.
Huh.
Interesting.
You'd have to measure it and then it'd tell you. You can do that real quick if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's like 1 acre.
Mhm.
I think the problem that what we're gonna run into right now, I get that 3 acres were more desirable, back in, what was that, the 90s and early 2000s. But we're talking that 1 acre lots, you're gonna be pushing $100,000. And I don't know if people are gonna really
And then to
buy
put
them for.
250 or $300,000 house on
That
it.
will deter, I mean, just
See,
from a personal standpoint, me.
Right, of course. But I'm thinking more of the people in bigger cities that want to move to rural areas. They don't want a half acre lot.
Yeah.
They can have that in the bigger city.
Yeah.
Where there's more shops and more
As
convenience
far as
stores.
bigger city like Ankeny,
Ankeny, Ames.
I don't know if there's a whole lot of half acre lots.
I don't, what
That's what I'm
Fond du Lac
saying.
building? You know, I don't
I
know,
don't know.
how big their lots are going.
And look at the area that they're in with the 3 acre, the half acre, the 3 acre.
I'm just
Lots
talking about
in
the
that
bottom 12,
area.
we're not talking about the top 40.
Right.
So, yeah, wait and see, I guess, if he can do it and it goes through, it's better than what it is now, so we'll see. That's all I got. All right, moving on, consent agenda, approval of June 6, 2022, and current bills as presented. Is there a motion on the floor for those?
Move approval.
Moved by Steve,
Second.
second by Ken. Discussion?
The date is wrong on it. in the minutes. And there's a lot of things that are missing that were in the meeting.
I
And there's
I
some-
read through the minutes and I think it represents a summary of the meeting adequately.
I do too.
Is there anything in particular that you feel should be added?
There were some things, yes.
What?
There were things that were said at the meeting and pertinent to what was being discussed that were not
Can you come
included
up, can you
in the
come up
meeting.
with an example?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me. Not
Okay.
like you have it in front of you, I do not. I'm just saying that there were things that were missing.
We
And things that weren't
provide
quite-
some summary minutes, and we certainly have the tape. And in reviewing the minutes,
I had a
it
question.
is as I remember it, so.
Well, I know that Deb wasn't here to do it. I'd like to know who did the minutes.
I did the rough draft of it, and then Deb watched the video and added maybe and corrected some things. So I kind of did the outline of it, yes.
Okay, so but you and I can talk later.
Well, if you're approving now, then nothing's gonna
No,
change.
I know, it's not gonna change, but you and I can talk about
Well,
it
we can
later.
always come back and amend in the future.
We could, yeah.
And the video's still out there too, so. Any other discussion on the minutes? Or the bills as presented? Hearing none. Steve,
Yes,
Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes,
Doug,
Yes.
Ken.
Yeah,
I will take a motion for adjournment, please.
motion to adjourn, holler.
Megan, second by Lauren.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none. Lauren,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Doug,
Yeah.
Ken,
yeah.
Steve.
yes.
Yeah,
Meeting adjourned. You're gonna press in on that, Deb, please.